Hello, and welcome to our coverage of the Ultimatum Queer Love. I'm Asia, and I'm very, very, very excited to be talking about what you can expect, what we are excited about, and why you should watch the Ultimatum Queer Love. Uh, it's been 2 years since we've had the Ultimatum Queer Love, so buckle up. We're going to give you everything you need to know so you can be prepared for the Ultimatum Queer Love premiering on June 25th on Netflix. I'm not here alone. I'm with my co-host for the Ultimatum Queer Love. I have first up Mary Kwiatkowski. Mary, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm really excited to cover. Is it a hot take to say I think Netflix's most entertaining dating show?
Not a hot take,
No.
just true. Just true.
Coldest take ever. Um, and to round out this great group of hosts, we have one of the hosts of The Pride Has Spoken, as well as one of the breakout stars of Survivor 41, Dr. Evvie Jagoda. How are
Wow.
you?
Amazing intro. Thank you so much, Aysha. I'm so excited to be here. I think it's not a hot take at all that the Queer Ultimatum is the most entertaining Netflix dating show. And we've been missing it, been jonesing for it. We didn't have it for last summer, which I feel like I felt the gap in my life in terms of messy queer reality TV dating shows. So thrilled to be back. Thrilled to be back with you guys.
Honestly, like they have put out 2 seasons of the Ultimatum, the straight version, since we've had the Ultimatum Queer Love, and it was like, hey, are we getting it back? Like, what are you doing? Is it canceled?
It can't, because the Ultimatum Queer Love takes the premise of the ultimatum and then makes it something that seems actually like it might actually happen.
Truly. So like we said, like the Ultimatum Queer Love season 1 came out in 2023. If you have not watched that, you have time, go binge it. It's worth the watch. If you've watched the Ultimatum, the straight version, you're like, that show, no, not it for me. Why would people ever do it? It's not entertaining. It's always so annoying. Go watch the Ultimatum Queer Love. It's a completely different show because it's just something about getting just that, you know,
the messy,
yes,
messy sapphic love. Like,
yes.
okay. Let's just in case you're listening to this and you've never watched any ultimatums.
Yes.
The premise of this show, briefly, we're starting with how many couples are we starting with?
Let's say 5.
But yeah, 5 couples, and in each couple, one partner has given the other some sort of ultimatum in the sense of we basically need to get married or we need to break up is basically the status of all these couples. And luckily they've come to the right place to work on their couple issues is of course a reality dating show, and they will be in the careful therapeutic hands of the Netflix producers who will help them figure out if they should do this ultimatum or not, if they should get married or break up. And the way that they will do that is by trial marrying other people in these same situations. Is that, would we say that's correct?
Classic case of, is the grass greener on the other side?
Yes. Right. Yes. And let's do it in close proximity where your current partner is fully aware of everything else happening with this trial marriage. And then once you realize, oh, wait, okay, well, I just got a taste of if the grass is greener. Now I'm going to go back to see what I originally had. Try that out for a little bit.
Yes. And I will just say, I do think that the lesbian people in this show are really bringing a special element, as we've been saying, where they're just like, maybe I am now really in love with this other random person, and maybe we should move in together and get married. And that is, a cornerstone of lesbian culture is people doing things like that. And so I do think that brings the emotional intensity very high to this show. And the last season was really an absolute roller coaster.
Oh, absolutely. Like, I mean, what they're doing though is there's a reason that the joke is what does a lesbian bring to the second date a U-Haul, right?
Mhm.
Like the time span of this show is perfect for lesbians to fall in love. Like it's not unrealistic to just be like, whoa, oh my gosh. Like
I
this.
mean, this is a huge plug. If you're listening to this podcast right now and you have not listened to Aysha on The Pride Has Spoken talk about her bisexuality and her beautiful relationship, a newish relationship, you have to hear about how they did. Is it correct me if I'm wrong that you all talked on the phone for like 12 hours the day before your first date? Like
Yes.
that's what we're talking about.
Right.
That is the
Literally,
cultural context.
the night before our first date, me and my girlfriend, before she was my girlfriend, before we have seen each other in person, we were on the phone. We FaceTime for 8 hours.
Right.
Then I took a nap. I went to work for a full day. And then we went on our first date. And I was like, oh, this is everything.
Right. And you're done. And
Yeah.
it's like, put that in a trial marriage, and that's the show. That's the show that we're watching, where people are really having really intense connections with each other. Like that just really is a thing that is possible, you know?
Yeah.
And
And what go ahead, Mary.
I was gonna say the sort of irony of the show in both the straight and queer love versions is that the couples are generally made up of one person who really wants to settle down and get married, and one person who likes being in their comfortable relationship but is happy to hop on this opportunity to like hang out with, maybe hook up with, maybe potentially leave the show and just start dating a different person. And the irony is that when you pair up people, a lot of times two people who wanted to be married will end up together. And the two of them are like, oh, so this is what it's like if I was in a relationship with someone else who also wanted to settle down. That's great. And they'll realize like how badly they've been treated. And then the other people are like, oh, shoot, this is all fun and games. But like, who's the stable one in the relationship?
Exactly.
And it's so funny. Because I don't know if either of you know right off the top of your head, out of all the seasons of Ultimatum that have happened, I don't think that anyone has ever actually ended up with a swapped person and like decided to go on. But plenty of people have had an experience after the trial marriage where they decide, actually, I don't want to be with my original person anymore.
Right. Well, and so I haven't seen the straight ones, except for I've seen bits
anything.
of but in the last season, I think a lot of people were rooting for, I don't know how spoilery we're being of the last season. I don't know. You had 2 years to watch it. You should go back and watch it. But if you didn't yet, I'm about to say a thing about it. But I think a lot of people were rooting for Xander and Yoli, who were one of the trial marriages. And it really seems like Xander went for it. Xander was like, I'm all in. I would leave here with Yoli. And Yoli was like, no, I'm going to give Mal. And Mal ended up, having, I think, the experience that Mary was saying of realizing actually it is good to try committing to the person that if you really want to be with her, you should be with her, and propose to Yoli. But then I think that one, that could have been a beautiful relationship if Yoli had been brave, because Yoli and Mal not together anymore, both of them very publicly with other people.
Yeah, I think that's what I think that's the difference too. Between the Ultimatum Queer Love and the Ultimatum is that we know that it is realistic to be on the Xander level of like, wait, I'm really catching feelings. Whereas on the Ultimatum, we've had a couple on the Ultimatum season 3 who decided to go all in and decided to assume the positions of marriage. And you're like, y'all don't know each other. Like, this is unrealistic. You're saying sweet nothings to each other, and it's not the recipe for like, oh, we're gonna be together. It's just because y'all are attracted to each other. Whereas like it feels different watching the Ultimatum Queer. Like, you're like, okay, no, y'all actually are heading towards marriage.
Right. And to be clear, every lesbian U-hauling works out and is realistic and was the correct decision for those people, for sure. Notoriously.
Every single time.
Every single time.
So I think, if you're here and you are curious about if you should give it a try, watch the first episode. I'm sure, like, we haven't even seen the premiere for the Ultimatum Queer Love season 2, but we just know it's going to be good. It has to be. If it's anything like season 1, then and the preview looked pretty good. You could check that out as well on Netflix. But I think it's going to be interesting to just like talk about who we're going to see on this season and just our thoughts based on nothing.
And the last thing I'll say about it, it's a great show for the group chat, for the
yes.
what are my queer
100%.
friends talking about this summer? You know what I mean? Like it's just so ripe for you to be like, oh, these people are making such messy choices, and I love watching it.
Yes.
So, and I love watching it with your friends. So,
And if you know anything about me covering these dating shows, Love is Blind and The Ultimatum, you know my brother's going to be watching. You know he's going to be sending me all his thoughts like he did for season 1. So can't wait to find out who he's rooting for.
Right. And it's, coming out no pun intended, at the right time during Pride Month. And we do know that it's coming, they're dropping the episodes over 2 weeks. So I'm guessing just like half and half, dropping the episodes so you can consume it very quickly. We will be here to talk about it. We'll probably talk about the premiere, and then we'll split the other 2 drops in separate podcasts. So you have us for a good month here talking about the Ultimatum Queer Love season 2. All right, let's dive into it. Let's dive into this cast. So this is what we have here. We have a nice mix of people. Women and potentially non-binary folks here. I see a lot of like femme mask pairings. We have one looks like femme situation. So they look like they have good personalities.
Yeah, I feel like we definitely have a range of different. We've got some more like fancy we got one couple where there's a suit going on and a dress, and then we've got like some like maybe younger seeming people with like a kind of a tank top and a button up shirt, and I'm like, I think they're giving us a little bit of a range of people in a way that will hopefully make for some good mixing.
Exactly. And we're working here with 6 couples. Like season 1 had 5 couples. And I won't get into spoiler territory, but there's definitely more than one couple that ends up engaged at the end of this, because what the ultimatum does, it says, hey, you have to propose. That's why it's called marry or move on. You have to propose or break up or go with your new person. So we had, a good result at the end. And then, at the after the aftermath, life happens. But at least it's not one of those like, okay, what was that for? Everyone broke up.
Right.
Exactly. Also, just doing a quick scan of the cast, since we were talking about it, we've got a range here of 25 to 30. So what I like about that is that there's no ridiculous age gaps. We don't have a 22-year-old and a 45-year-old this season, which is nice.
Right.
Can't always say the same for some of the other versions of these Netflix dating shows. So, age is not everything, but I like that everyone's sort of in the same season of life, which is nice.
Yeah. And I was curious if Netflix would try to do the Ultimatum Queer Love with all like mostly cast of men.
Me too.
But I wonder if it's a situation where they're having difficulty. I'm just like grossly assuming like difficulty finding, couples that would want to commit, to marriage. And so,
I don't know.
there's it says something about like the sapphic culture.
Yeah. I mean, with all of these shows also, it's like I just think these people are you might think the most hardcore reality people are like Survivor, or like Naked and Afraid, or like, no, the most hardcore reality people are you're bringing your actual real partner, and you're like, we're gonna take something that's actually important in our real life and put it through the stakes of these like shows. Like, I don't know. I'm just like, I don't know. I think there's also like, how strong do you really think your relationship is? Because this is going to be a test for any couple, and like I get why it would be hard to find couples for these, because even the last season you were saying, I think all of the couples except for one, or spoiler, it's been 2 years to watch it, a lot of the couples do end up getting back together at the end of the show, but they're not together now. I don't think any of them are together now, except for one.
I just thought of something, and I don't think I've ever mentioned this on one of our Ultimatum podcasts. I could be totally wrong about this. Several years before the Ultimatum came out, I was reached out to about asking if I was in a relationship that basically would want to do an ultimatum and be on a
How do you forget
dating
this?
show, because I forgot it because it was like 2 or 3 years before the first ultimatum came out. And so by the time it came out, I was like, "Oh," and I've been so long out of that relationship. Obviously, we never went through with even doing that. Put it this way, it was the kind of relationship where I was like, "This person's never going to agree to go on a reality show with me
Right.
anyway." So
Yeah.
you can guess how that one ended. But I'm wondering. I don't know. I'd have to go back and see if I can find the message to see if it was someone associated with Netflix, because I don't remember knowing what network it was.
Okay.
But now I'm wondering, was that early stages of the ultimatum? Because the
Could
show
be.
they described to me, they were like, you need to be dating someone and you need to be okay with the idea that you're going to be getting engaged at the end. We're looking for people who maybe one person really wants to get married and the other person has been pushing back. And I was like,
It
my
could
God.
be
all
the
of a sudden
ultimatum
it's clicking to
or
me
a
like that it could be.
Temptation Island.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
something like that. So anyway, maybe
Okay, the
maybe
alt
that was
universe where you were on one of the the ultimatum seasons or even Temptation Island, I'm like, that would be spicy. That
That
would
would
be
have been
fun.
so
Right.
funny. I don't
That
know
would've
why
been
this
wild.
is like a memory that I've buried. Anyway, who knows?
You
I'll do some
wanted to
research to
forget
see
it.
if that
Yeah.
would have happened.
And let's just
Funny.
say, since I don't think we've said it so far, if you are, if you have the thought that like I would never do this, I would never want to go on with my partner and think like that's the best way to test our relationship. We agree.
You probably means you're in a pretty good relationship.
Right. You're like, in no way would I ever go on here just like, I think this will really like if especially if I'm in the position of like not or sure about marriage yet. I'm like, this we'll for sure find out this way.
Right. I mean, and I think it's like really I'm quite interested to see how this season will be different from last season, because of last season, like obviously the people on it could have seen the straight versions of the ultimatum, but I
Yeah.
really do feel like that their season really blew up in a way that none of the straight seasons of the ultimatum really did, and these people probably all are aware of that. And so it's like, what obviously with any of these shows, a big portion of the
Yeah.
motivation is, Instagram. So like influencer,
Exactly.
that sort of thing. But like now knowing what happened last season, where most of these
Oh wait, you muted. There we go.
most
Yeah.
couples not together anymore. And but I do think they're all doing quite well on social media. So it'll be interesting to see, how real everybody's motivations seem throughout.
Yeah, exactly. And because I think their followings are pretty similar to like Love is Blind with the season 1 ultimatum queer love crew, like Mal, Yoli, Xander, I think even Lexi, they all have pretty big followings now that they were on the show. So definitely gonna have to keep that in mind and motivations for some of these couples. But let's get started with reviewing the couples we're going to see. So first up, we have AJ and Brittany. And if you are listening to the audio version, we do have pictures up on the YouTube version. So make sure you check that out if you want to have a face with a name. So first up, we have AJ. She uses she, her pronouns. She's 28, and she is the ultimatum receiver. Okay. They also provide an occupation, first queer crush, and a fun fact.
I forgot about the whole ultimatum receiver as
Yes.
title, and that is so funny. I
What
love
is it?
Yes.
It's ultimatum giver and ultimatum receiver. Is that right?
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay.
No puns there for sure.
Right.
Certainly not.
So AJ is an administrative assistant, and her first queer crush was Tiana Taylor. Makes all the sense in the world. Tiana Taylor, for those that don't know, is a singer and is currently dating Aaron Pierre, who is the voice of Mufasa in the newest Mufasa
Mhm.
movie. And just seeing these two together, go look it up if you haven't. It's a sight to see because they're both just beautiful humans.
I'm looking at pictures now.
Yes. Yeah, this doesn't make sense. So AJ being the ultimatum receiver with this like every button unbutton button down.
How many buttons is too unbuttoned? What do we got? We're at least 3 buttons down.
I think
Yeah.
it's working. I think it's working.
Yeah.
But this is the max. I think this is the max. Any more,
But
we're starting to get below navel.
Yes.
That's a
yes.
different.
Exactly.
Then you just have to be open.
AJ strikes me as like smooth.
Yeah.
Probably like,
I think it's the way that she's holding her hands.
Yes.
Like,
Agreed.
She was definitely rubbing them together like this before the picture was taken.
Yep.
She's a Libra. I don't know. Are y'all big into zodiacs?
I don't know enough to say anything.
Yeah, okay, neither am I.
Okay, we're gonna please, if you're listening to this, you probably know more about astrology than us. Let us know.
Yeah.
What does it mean that AJ is a Libra?
Like somebody's probably like big Libra vibes.
After this one or after the first drop, I want to see some comments telling us whether or not you think that their star sign like matches up with what we've seen so far. That's what I need to know.
So AJ has been with Brittany for 5 years. So that is a like substantial relationship. Brittany,
That's the amount of time.
Yes. So if you want to see Brittany uses she/her pronouns. She's 27 and she is the ultimatum giver. And she is also no, I just said Libra. So she's a Virgo.
Okay, I know about Virgo. Virgo is like type A, very like lists, very like, just kind of like they got their shit together. That's kind of what I think about a Libra. Some notable survivor Libras: Lisa Torres, Katora. I think Sabaya too. I think when I talked to Katora and Sabaya, another.
Oh, they said they were both
for the Pride of Spoken. Right, they're both Virgos. Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting.
So it's interesting. Yeah, I see that. Like I could describe her that way just by this picture alone.
And her job, she's a registered nurse / entrepreneur, very Virgo, very getting shit done, very on top of it,
Her
and from AJ's side, it sounds like AJ's like, I don't want to come second place to Brittany's business, which I presume is probably the entrepreneurial side, not the registered nurse part, but we never know.
Sure.
Yeah. Her first career crush is Kaylani, which come on.
Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong.
Same. A little bit about what Brittany said about her and AJ was Brittany surprised herself when she boldly approached AJ at the club the night they met, but she simply couldn't resist, and their electric chemistry was solidified the moment they began to dance together. And she issued AJ an ultimatum because after years of loving and building with her, she's ready for the next chapter. Okay. So I don't know. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah. What I like about this couple is it feels very like real, like ultimatum setup where it's like, okay, we've been together for 5 years. We were respectively 22 and 23 when we started dating. Yes. Now we're 27, 28. Are we doing this, or was this like my 20s relationship and now I'm like not, we're moving on and we're doing our new thing. That seems like a very like believable situation.
Yeah, because 5 years is significant.
Yeah,
it is. I'm curious because it seems like from reading both of their bios and the way they met, and I think that the way they state how they met can tell a lot about things.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Brittany's like, it was magic. We were in sync. We were in tune. And then AJ's like, yeah, I didn't even know that she was interested until she directly asked for my number. So, I just think that can say a lot. So we'll see. I'm very curious.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Next couple we're working with. Haley and Pilar. They have been together.
Oh my goodness.
Years. Okay.
Wow.
So first up, we have Haley, who uses she/her pronouns. She's 29 and she is the ultimatum giver. Taurus.
And she's a Taurus.
Yeah, my brother's a Taurus. So I always hear a lot about Tauruses.
Kind of stubborn, right? It's the bull.
Stubborn, but they're big. Like they're still big feelers. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. We're going to get eaten alive on this. All right. We know we're not experts. Okay. We know that we should have had a lesbian astrology expert. We know that. Right. And that's our bad.
Yeah. Kaylani is notoriously a Taurus.
Oh, there you go.
I'm aware. Okay. So Haley is a senior food scientist.
Okay. What does that mean? That's
cool. Right. And senior shows us she's about her business.
Right.
She's been doing it. She's senior level. Her first career crush is the 5 muses from Hercules.
I'm looking this up. Okay.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
You should, if you don't know what that is, you should look it up. I get it. Yeah.
Right.
Also, all of them.
You've never seen Hercules?
I think, okay, real talk, I had like a Hercules toy from Burger King or something that gave me like nightmares, and then I was really afraid to watch it more than like one time.
I assume it wasn't one of the 5 muses.
No, it was like some sort of scary thing that freezes people or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that would be Hades.
Some sort of terrifying thing like that.
Which, like, why are they giving toys of Hades away to kids?
Yeah, exactly. I was too young, okay?
Right. So yeah, Haley seems nice. Like,
Fun fact, in my spare time, I enjoy chocolatiering.
what
Like,
exactly, like, are you making things?
also, that's a little bit
She's a
like
senior
in my
food scientist,
right. So
maybe.
that's a little bit like in my spare time, I do my job more. You know what I mean? Like
Mm,
that
yeah.
tells you something about her, you know? Like, but on the other hand, her job is cool. So it's like,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Haley is with Pilar. Pilar uses she, her pronouns. She's 29 and she's the ultimatum receiver. Okay. She is a physical therapist. Her first queer crush is Princess Kita from Atlantis.
Okay, so they both really went with the,
Yeah.
like, animated kids movies.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. And one thing that Pilar said about their relationship was, we've never slept apart since that summer. Pilar says about the early days of her relationship with Haley. 10 years?
Yeah, that's wild.
Y'all are locked in.
Also, like, this is going to be so wild for them.
Yes.
Because, okay, well, not just are you not sleeping together, you're sleeping with someone else. This,
like that's gonna.
They haven't slept alone since they were, and it's 10 years, and these people are both 29. They haven't slept alone without each other since they were 19 years old.
Right.
Oh my God. Okay. Wow.
And the 20s are such formative years.
Yeah.
That it's like, okay, if y'all are still together, you kind of grown together, you would think, but there's something holding Pilar back at least to not want to proceed.
Yeah, so I have, from reading the bio, Pilar's got 2 kind of main points here. Does not have a great relationship with her parents, who openly disapprove of her queer identity. And then that has also brought on part of the sort of, I don't view marriage having any point. It's a social construct. So I think that we tend to get at least one person who feels that way, of just like, why do we have to get married though? Why can't we just continue what we're doing forever? So that'll probably be the crux of a lot of their issues.
Yeah.
Which, like, and I definitely know a lot of people like that. Like, that's definitely like a totally valid way to feel. And then it's also like, okay, but if it doesn't matter, but it does matter to your partner,
Right.
like
Why not?
what is it about that means you can't do it? Like, is that
Yeah.
just that important to you of a moral perspective, or is there actually some reason, like this thing of the family or etc.? So I genuinely feel like these people probably, like, if you've been together for 10 years, starting from that young of an age, there's a lot of stuff that can build up over that time. So it's like, on the one hand, I feel like these people are really locked together. They've built their life together, and there might be a lot of stuff that comes out in this situation. So I'm quite excited to see where this goes.
Right. I mean, because it seems like on Haley's end, she said in her bio, she's ready to exercise her right to wed the love of her life. Which, that just seems like, okay, that's the next step, as opposed to kind of addressing Pilar's concerns.
Well, and right. And also, it's almost like that phrasing also is like giving tones of, like, politically it feels important to marry.
Yes.
Like, we're queer people, we can get married, so we should, which is actually like, okay, so if that's what Pilar thinks, that's what Hillary thinks, and Pilar is like, actually, I think marriage is a bad social construct. Those are actually pretty different political beliefs.
Yes.
So interesting.
Right. When you've been with someone 10 years, you think these are like heavy discussions. Or they've just gotten so comfortable avoiding those topics and just like going through the motions.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It actually even says that Haley's queer identity was shaped by the viral No H8 campaign, which was that the campaign in California which I think overturned gay marriage in California? Yeah. So yeah, for her, politically important, and for Pilar. So this is interesting. This is interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know about these two. they're going to be very interesting because that's deep. That is, you are bringing in, I've been married a year, 10 years. Like it's if one of them decides to fully go in on the experiment and fully give themselves to the trial marriage, I could see some really like a lot of heartbreak here. So, whew, that'll be tough. Okay. Next up, we have Kyle and Bridget. They've been together for 2.5 years. So still a substantial, amount of time. Kyle uses she, they pronouns. Kyle is 30 and they're the ultimatum giver. They're also a Leo. Ooh, big Leo vibes. No clue.
No clue. We assume.
Kyle is a graphic designer. First queer crush was Rachel Stevens from S Club 7. I was never really into S Club 7. Were
Me either. I'm
either
doing a
y'all?
look up.
I loved one song from S Club 7 because it was on my radio Disney Jams Volume 7 CD.
Incredible. Okay, she's a cutie. I'm seeing like classic early aughts 90s like
Pop star,
pop star.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Kyle is with Bridget. Bridget also uses she, they pronouns. Bridget is 28 and they're the ultimatum receiver. And they're an Aquarius. So Bridget is a writer and bartender. Hold on, I'll keep her picture there. Writer and bartender, and first queer crush was Zach and Cody from The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody.
I like Zach and Cody. No
Both
need to pick.
I feel like you liked one or the other.
Right.
Like I personally thought like Cody was a little bit cuter, but
yeah.
I also like Bridget says Zach and the first quick question, Zach and Cody from The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. I can't really explain it, but if you had a crush on them as a kid, you're probably gay now.
It's like when y'all were talking on the Pride is Spoken, another plug for the Pride is Spoken. When you had your episode with Andy, and Andy was talking about crushes on Lance Bass.
Yes. If you had a crush on Lance Bass, you're probably gay now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So for Bridget says marriage feels unnecessary. She said, I don't understand the point. However, Bridget does see a forever with Kyle, who has always felt like the past, present, and future. So I don't know. I mean, people do have that stance. Some people just don't see marriage for them. They just don't, like, that's not the next step. But then you have other people who haven't seen marriage with past partners, and then future partners like, well, this is the partner that has now made me change my view on marriage and see that for the future. So this could get interesting.
Right. I mean, this really does seem, like thinking about, we have each of these couples and then we have that they're going to have the option to pair up with each other. Like it is like, as we've been saying, it seems very likely to me that some of these marriage is a social construct people could end up together. And some of these actually marriage is important to me people could end up together. And this is just classic fodder for the ultimatum and also some true life into it. So I'm interested about that. And also just if anyone listening isn't familiar with like what to do with she/they as the pronouns, that can mean different things to different people. Since we don't have any more information, I think often that means both is good. You can use one or the other, but often a mix is preferred. Like, so if you give that a try as you're talking about Bridget and Kyle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I've heard like just from like learning about pronouns and usage in the way that you're explaining it now, is it that they feels like more of an acknowledgement of the like how they are preferring to use their pronouns?
Yeah. Well, I think it probably depends. I mean, if it's not they, them, right? So it's she/they. So I think it probably depends on the person, but the fact that they're both there, my default would be to try to use both, and then unless heard otherwise. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, on the other side of it, Kyle does say marriage is a non-negotiable. He says, which isn't really a surprise coming from someone who has a very particular expectations for an ideal date night. For the record,
That-
it's a sunset picnic on a warm beach with all their favorite snacks, no bugs, and no wind.
I have to say, to me, those things are quite unrelated to each other. I don't really
Which,
get that.
because
Yeah.
Kyle has
Like,
specific date night criteria.
yeah, so therefore, obviously, marriages are non-negotiable. But that's stressful. Non-negotiable is like a pretty strong word. you know?
Yeah. Marriage is a non-negotiable, is in partnership with, I don't see the point of marriage.
Right.
So,
Right. So
it wouldn't be a surprise if we did see Kyle or Bridget decide to pursue people who are aligned with them purely on marriage, because it seems like they have like they are definitely, attracted to each other. They have good chemistry based on what they're saying in their bios, but it's just like these fundamental ideas of marriage is the thing keeping them from taking the next step.
right.
Okay. And Bridget is an Aquarius. I don't know if I said that. All right. Let's move on to the next couple. We have Mel and Marie. So Mel uses she, her pronouns. She's 27 and she's an ultimatum receiver and she's a Taurus. They've been together for 4 years. Mel's the one you were referring to that had on the suit.
Yep. Yeah.
So Mel is a food truck owner.
Owner. Yeah, it's definitely giving
Y'all.
food truck owner.
Yes.
Yeah.
But also a chef.
But also
So a chef who decided to open a food truck.
Mm-hmm.
Her first career crush was Pink. She said, I didn't know if I wanted her or wanted to be her. Probably both.
Classic.
And I will say, if you're questioning that, you most likely wanted her.
Right. Right.
She does also say that she has trypophobia, which is, I can't look it up because I feel like I also have it.
Oh.
Where it's the fear of all those little circles in one place.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I looked it up.
You
I
have
have a
it?
fear of that too. I got that.
Oh my
too.
God. You two both have that?
I don't
Yeah,
like it. Okay, I closed it.
Evvie,
Wow.
the way my skin
Yeah.
is crawling right now just thinking about it.
Wow. Okay, that's how I know for sure I don't have it.
Yeah.
because
I have
I'm
a lot of
fine.
visual
Yeah.
phobias that are all kind of similar, and that is definitely one of them. So
Whoa,
yeah,
okay.
like I also don't like looking at things under a microscope, and I feel like those are
Mhm.
kind of related sometimes. Yeah,
Yeah,
don't like it.
Certainly.
Because a lot of the like,
Or
no,
like if you look
the
at a
hairs,
sunflower, like or any kind of plant, and you look really close at it, don't like it.
Wow. I love
The hairs on my
microscope
arm
and
literally
sunflowers. So
the hairs on my arm are standing up right now thinking about it, and I did not type it.
wow.
Yeah. So if you think you might have a fear of little holes or little circles, don't look it up.
Don't look it up.
Yeah, please. So Mel is paired with Marie, who also uses she, her pronouns. She's 27 and she's the ultimatum giver. She's a Virgo and she's a food truck owner. So she owns this. What if they own different food trucks? No, they have to own this one
Whoa.
together.
They probably own
Right.
them together.
Yes.
Oh.
Butler and bartender. Her first career crush was Sophia Bush.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Relate hard.
Yeah.
Relate hard.
Yeah.
And I think Sophia Bush
Really
is
hard.
really, I just want to say, in case you didn't catch that, I agree. And Sophia Bush is queer and is dating like a really hot person right now. And
Yeah, soccer player, right?
Who is Sophia Bush dating
So-
now? Hold on. I
Yeah.
gotta look this up.
It's a little
and seems,
controversial,
like, really
though.
happy. Oh wait, what's controversial about it?
Well, because the soccer player was in a long-term relationship with her teammate
Oh.
at the time,
I see.
and then they broke up, and then the
Ashlyn
timelines kind of
Harris.
cross over. It seems.
Gotcha.
Something for mess
Messy.
magnets to dig into.
Yeah,
Messy.
right.
Yeah.
So Marie met Mel through a mutual friend when they were teenagers, which is interesting because they've only been together for 4 years, so they've known each other a long time.
Mhm.
Though Marie wasn't out at the time, she was drawn to Mel's confidence and certainly in herself. Now that the couple is partnered in life and business, Marie thinks it's time to elevate their relationship.
Okay. So it does sound like it's one food truck.
Yes.
And so Mel on the other side said that she always had a crush on Marie, but they didn't begin dating until Marie came out. And so it says the two have launched into both a relationship and a business partnership with this food truck. which keeps them very busy and leaves little time for romance.
Hmm.
But
I
it
don't
doesn't
know.
really
really
be
say.
sharing a bed every night since you were 19. Maybe that would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Maybe that would. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I feel. I don't know why, but I'm getting like a good vibe about them. I'm feeling like
I am
hopeful about
too.
them.
I
Yeah.
think
It
it helps
doesn't.
that they've known each other for a really long time
Yeah.
before they started dating.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think it's cool that it's like, it's not like that Mary came out in the dating of Mel, which I mean is a
Mhm.
totally valid thing as well, but can also mean that like all of her own feelings of her queerness are like wrapped up in the other person and like
Yes.
etc. And it's kind of cool for both of them. I feel like that it's like, yeah, they were friends. Mary had her own like journey and then they like started dating and now they
Yeah.
are clearly very invested in each other. Like they've been able to make enough commitment that they own a business together and stuff.
Right.
Like, I don't know. I think they'll probably figure it out. That's
Yeah,
what it
because
feels like.
it even says in Mel's bio, Mel needs some convincing to settle down. Marie is ready
Right.
for forever, but I feel like there's a few things we need to get in order first. So that's not a no.
Right.
That's not
Right.
I don't see the point of marriage with Marie.
Right.
You
Right. No,
know?
definitely not.
They have
Definitely not.
they definitely have a promising future. It just seems like Mel just wants to make sure that it makes sense.
As it should.
You know, such a Taurus. Okay, second to last couple. We have Dana and Megan. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying that in like my Texas accent. It's Magan.
Yeah.
Megan. They've been together for 1.5 years, so shortest time frame so far. Dana uses she, her pronouns. She's 25, which is the youngest we've seen so far. And she's the ultimatum giver. She's a Gemini. And Dana is a relationship manager. First queer crush is King Princess.
Oh, that's a musician who wait, I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yes. And, her fun fact is she is left-handed.
Got to work on that fun fact. Diana.
Yeah, that's not really.
That's like 30% of people or something. Like,
like my
yeah.
fun fact is my hair is dyed blonde right now.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So we have Megan who uses she, her
Wait,
pronouns.
sorry. Did we say about Diana that her occupation is relationship manager?
Yes.
And did we talk what does that mean?
So it could be like if it's in corporate America, it could be a relationship between like the client and the vendor.
Okay.
She could be that type of, or it's a fancy name for like a couples therapist or
right.
something.
But it's probably the other thing.
Or it's a fancy name for my job is managing our relationship.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Right.
So we have Megan, who's 27, uses she, her pronouns, the ultimatum receiver, and is a Taurus. Megan is a business manager. So they kind of you got a relationship manager and a business manager.
Right.
Maybe Dana was just a little bit more specific. First queer crush is Xenon from Xenon Girl of the 21st Century. What a classic movie.
Wow.
Also hard relate to that.
I loved those movies.
Yeah.
1999. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And notably,
Yeah.
Raven Simone is in that movie, who has
Yes.
a podcast with her wife.
Just, the world there's just so many queer people.
Yeah, such queer joy.
Yeah.
So Megan says in her bio that unlike her partner, she walks through life with an anxious attachment style. Despite the insecurity she might inherently feel in romantic relationships, making a lifetime commitment isn't the solve she's looking for. So if she thinks that she's receiving this ultimatum from Dana due to her own issues with boundaries. Ooh. And Megan has a traditional family.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dana says that she struggles with her avoidant attachment style. Is that hers, or she struggles with Megan's avoidant attachment
no, it
style?
seems that it's hers. It seems that they're doing a flip in this relationship from their
This is
normal
so-
pattern.
Okay,
Which
interesting.
is interesting. Yeah. So it seems like, Diana. Sorry, am I saying that right?
I think
Dina?
it's Dana.
Dana.
maybe?
Oh, just Dana. Just Dana. Yeah. but it's Dayna.
I think
know,
it's
that's
Dana.
what's
We'll find out when the show
Yeah,
starts.
it might be Diana. We don't know.
So normally, let's say Dayna is normally avoidant, but she's the one issuing the ultimatum, and Megan is normally anxiously attached, but she's not sure about this lifetime commitment. First of all, this is so lesbians to know about to be talking
The
in the structure, the
attachment
language
styles.
of attachment styles, and is this the kind of thing I don't watch? I think you all watch more of the straight dating shows with me. Is this the kind of, like, I know sometimes like therapy speak in general then just becomes part of, like, is anxious attachment and avoidant attachment like part of the lexicon of these shows, or is that
Not as much. I would say it comes up occasionally. Usually when you have someone who it's clear that they've like already gone to therapy and they might like bring it up, and it's usually brought up in their like big reveal about their emotional history kind of thing, like, and then I discovered that I had anxious attachment style, but it's not, it doesn't come up as much.
Got it.
On Married at First Sight. Yeah, Married at First Sight, you could definitely tell who in the relationship has been to therapy. And they always pull out the language, even when in arguments, because they're trying to explain how they feel. It's not us against each other; it's us against the problem. And it gets dangerous when they've both been in therapy, so they're both using the language.
Sure.
It becomes a therapy off.
Yep. Okay, well, I'll just say red flags all over this one for me. I mean, they're both pretty young. The ultimatum giver is 25 years old, and they've been together for 1.5 years. And like, it just feels like they're kind of there's like marriage will like solve our dynamic. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Which, for Megan to say, "Oh, I'm not looking for marriage to solve this." Like, what needs to be solved? Like, that marriage cannot be the problem solver here. Whatever issues y'all are having, y'all need to address this. This is kind of reminding me of like Tiff and their partner.
Mildred.
Yes. Where it's just like, y'all have way bigger issues than deciding if you need to be married or not.
Right. Exactly.
These two will be interesting. I could easily see them going all in on it, or one of them at least going in on the trial marriage. And committing to it. So lastly, we have Ashley and Marita. They've been together for 3 years. Ashley uses she, her pronouns. She's 30. She's an ultimatum giver, and she's a Virgo. She's an account manager. So this is the third type of manager we have. Her first career crush was Madison Beer, or how do you pronounce her last name?
I just Googled this person, and I mean, I could see.
I think it's Madison Beer.
She's a singer. Yeah, she's 26, which is so interesting because Ashley's 30. And I thought, when I think of Madison, I think like, okay, she's big on TikTok. She's young. And so I'm wondering, when did this crush occur?
Right.
Like a couple years ago?
Right. Interesting.
Yeah.
Didn't have any queer crushes until then. I don't know.
Yeah, well, let's think recent. It does say on Ashley's bio that Ashley and Marita met on a dating app, and they were able to just keep the conversation going. Relatable. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Here's a good, important quote from Ashley's bio in relation to Marita. So it says, whose quote is this? This is Ashley. "I'm tired of getting her inconsistency in our relationship, along with the fact that she never chooses me and seeks feelings elsewhere with other people.
Oh no!
I want her to pick me, and I know that I am enough."
Woo. Oh,
yikes!
My goodness!
Yikes!
No, that's not good. That's not good.
Yeah.
Y'all don't need to be on the ultimatum.
Sounds like you know the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
She's about to literally pick someone else.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And explain why that person is the person they want to spin a trial marriage. Like, that's not going to help how Ashley's feeling in this relationship. Oh my God.
This seems like a really good environment for this couple.
Perfect. So Ashley is with Marita. Marita uses she, her pronouns. She's 25. So as young as Dana, and she's the ultimatum receiver. And she's a Pisces. So Marita is an account executive, and her first career crush was Miley Cyrus or Shay Mitchell. Shay Mitchell, I can relate hardcore. Like it's so funny because shout out again to the Pride is Spoken episode. This was a story I wanted to share on the podcast and then forgot to bring it up. But like when I came out to like some of my best friends, I used the Shay Mitchell TikTok where someone was like, "Oh my gosh, all bisexual people have a green couch," and then Shay Mitchell showed her green couch, and so and they're like my close friends know I have a green couch, and they're like, "Oh my gosh," but
that's so cute. Yeah. I love that.
Shay Mitchell, oh my goodness, Pretty Little Liars. That was Shay Mitchell is beautiful. So hardcore. Relate.
Okay, this is a good fun fact. It's really two fun facts. Fun fact number one, I'm an advanced scuba diver, and I beat Guy Fieri and his son at go-karting when I was little.
Like, how do you know Guy Fieri when you were little?
Right. I mean, maybe her parents knew or something. Anyway,
right.
Want to hear that story.
Right? So, yes, like, I want to know what level her parents are at to be casually racing Guy Fieri and his son. So, let's see. Marita, so she's the ultimatum receiver. She says as a diehard fan of the OC, Marita is looking for the Alex Kelly to her Marissa Cooper. In other words, Marita is a true romantic, and keeping the passion alive in a relationship is the key to her heart. So like such as like planning a date. And she says, while she and Ashley have natural chemistry and keep deep conversations, Marita still feels like Ashley could make romance more of a priority in their relationship. So it's a hard contrast to like Ashley wanting Marita to choose her. It looks like that's what she needs to be, go more into this relationship or be all in. Whereas Marita needs her to show more effort.
Right. And I'd also, so I know a bit about both of these signs. So we already talked about the Virgo, the type A kind of situation. Pisces is like, is one of the more like very like emotional, very feelings centered signs. And so you can kind of, I'm getting a picture of Marita's looking for romance and connection and like lovey-dovey, like, but like if Ashley's not in that, if Ashley's like, let's build our life, let's set up our house, let's like do these practical things, Marita's like, but there's more fun over there. Like maybe I'll go have some like vibes over there. And that seems like an interesting setup. Also, they've been together for 3 years. Currently the age difference 30 to 25. Okay. But when they started 27, 22.
Yeah, that's huge.
Is pretty young.
That's bigger. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
because you have very different priorities at that point. So, of course, Marita at 22 is choosing different things that Ashley would be choosing at 27.
Right. And 25 and 23 and 30 also still quite different late stages.
Yeah.
So, yeah. We'll see.
Like also, 30s is a new era. Like you are walking into just this new season of life where Marita is still in that phase probably of like trying to figure out what she wants in the future. And so I'm nervous that Marita is going to get the right trial marriage partner who is willing to just put in the romance, plan dates, show effort. And she's going to be like, oh my gosh, this is everything I want Ashley to do that I don't feel like she's capable of.
Yep.
Oof.
Not high hopes for this, for this pair. Yeah.
Ashley's going to spend all of her time worried about what Marita has going on. She's not going to care about her trial marriage.
So just looking at these that we have right here, do you feel like any of them are going to be good and are going to work this out and everything's going to move forward?
Yeah. I think I'm most into the food truck owners in terms of their long-term success. And I also, if I had to guess, they're on the show to promote the food truck. And so they're actually trying to be together. That's what's happening. That's why they're here. That's my prediction.
Yeah. Because if I'm having to like put my eggs in one basket, I'm probably, doing the food truck owner. That's what Dana? No, Mel and Marie. I'm thinking they seem the most solid based on nothing that we know.
They've known, but I really like the fact that they've known each other for a long time before they started dating.
Yes,
I think that's key.
Yes. And just
Yeah,
like
but
their lives are really like the business thing, they're really in it.
yeah. I mean, but you also have Haley and
Right.
Pilar up in the top right who've known each other or they've been together for
They
10
have,
years.
but I think we had that last season. Didn't
Ozzy and Sam, wasn't it?
yeah, but also I
I
feel
think
like the
Xander and Vanessa also were together for a really long
yeah,
A
I was
time.
gonna
long
say Xander
time.
and Vanessa, they not only were together for a long time, but they okay, this is taking back everything I just said about food truck people, but they did know each other for a really long time too before they started
True.
dating.
Yeah.
And I feel like with them and when they were especially talking with their family, there was a lot of like, yeah, you've been together for a long time, and don't get me wrong, we like the other person, but are you guys really good together? I don't
Right.
know. Like there's
Right.
a lot of that.
Right.
I think we got some I think they did a great job casting this crew.
Yep.
Mhm.
I think we have some very interesting dynamics to see. The trailer looked good. There were heightened emotions just like good old season 1 of Ultimatum Queer Love. So, I'm very excited.
Listen, there's twice. This is the queer dating shows are good. There's twice the mess. I feel the possibilities are more expanded, and I think we're in for a good road. So
Yeah.
and it's Pride Month, so it's a good gift to us. I guess it's sent to
Exactly.
us.
Yep. If you're
Exactly.
here, you're queer, or you're just curious about the show, this
Right.
is for you.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. So like we said, the show premieres June 25th on Netflix. There will be 2 weeks of drops. So hope you are joining us along for the ride to hear our commentary about it. Leave us, reach out to us on social media for anything you want to hear us discuss on the upcoming podcast. So just make sure you subscribe to the Love at First Sight feed. That's where you can get all of our podcasts for the Ultimatum, as well as subscribing to the Rob Has a Podcast, the RHAP YouTube channel. All right. So, Mary, where can people keep up with you?
You can keep up with me everywhere at Frail Mary. And if you want to check out any other podcasting I'm doing, you can check out my coverage right now with Sasha Joseph on Destination X if you're interested in some travel shows.
Ooh. Evvie, what about you?
So you can find me at Evvie Jag on Instagram or at Evvie Jagoda on TikTok. I'm not really using Twitter very much anymore, but it is still there. And please, 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 if you're listening to this, you will probably like The Pride Has Spoken, which is a mini series about interviewing mostly queer, all queer, mostly Survivor contestants. But we also have had some other reality show contestants as well. And you just get to hear about their queer experience and their different perspectives and how that influenced their time on Survivor. Aysha was the first guest this season, and it was an excellent one. So please check that out. And yeah, we're doing a fundraiser for the Trevor Project. We can get merch. So check out the RHAP store for all of that. And yeah,
Awesome.
I love June. I love June.
It's funny because, since I'm bi, me and my girlfriend joke about like, oh, if you're bi, you can only celebrate half the month. She's like, can we start celebrating yet?
That's
like,
hilarious.
okay,
Which
June
half?
15th
Yeah.
and on.
Yeah, which half? Yeah.
You're right.
Take
I'm like,
the middle
I like to take
half.
the middle. Yeah, exactly. Yes, y'all can find me on all social media at Aysha like Aysha. That's AYSHA like ASIA. Recently, I joined Chappelle on Nothing But Netflix. We talked about the premiere of Scandal. The Netflix put all 7 seasons of Scandal on Netflix, and so we talked about episode 1, and we just gushed about how much we love that series. So go check that out. Also, yes, the first episode of The Pride Has Spoken. Make sure you go check that out. I was so nervous going into it, but Evvie, Matt, and Grace made it a great experience. So definitely enjoyed that conversation. And Married at First Sight, Jason and I have launched a Patreon where that's just for all of our bonus content for Married at First Sight. We post one podcast a week. We've already put out about 16 episodes. So make sure you go find us at patreon.com/aperfectmatchpodcast. Thank y'all so much for sticking with us. And we're so excited to talk about this season and see how right or wrong we were. But make sure you keep a lookout for our coverage of the premiere coming up next. Bye.
This is RHAP, We know reality TV.